All right, and we will get right into the agenda. We don't have any proclamations or announcements this week, which lately is unusual. We've been doing a lot of proclaiming and pronouncing. First item to be considered for the agenda is a request to reappoint Mr. Robert Ferguson and Mr. Mark Nelson to the Spectre Care Health Systems Board. Any objections to adding that to the agenda? Okay. Second item is a request to approve acceptance of transfer of property by deed from Industrial Development Board and temporary easement for the off-site improvements at Sam Houston Industrial Park. Mr. Matt Parker is making his way to the podium as we speak to tell us exactly what I just said.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. What we have before you is a request to accept permanent easement 20 feet on Sam Houston Boulevard, and then a 10-foot temporary construction easement. And those are the off-site improvements for that intersection on 52 East and Sam Houston Boulevard. The contractor that is building the FedEx facility, they were meeting their long-term traffic needs and everything. And so they're going to be putting a traffic light there, signaling and making the improvements there. And also some other off-site improvements there on the ramp going into Ross Clark Circle. But they needed additional space that was owned by the Industrial Development Board in Lot 1. So the ID Board, who is the owner, is conveying that to the county, and also the temporary construction to allow that improvement to be done. When that's all completed, we will replat that section because that whole property has been platted, and then convey that to the city of Dothan upon all the improvements being completed. But they needed that additional space for that intersection improvement. And so that was the process by which we had to go forward with it to get it done.
So the idea of the board is the board.
Industrial Development Board of the city of Dothan.
Is transferring it to us, then the work's gonna all be done.
By a private contractor.
Right. Because of state funds and all that kind of stuff. And once all the work's done, we'll transfer it to the city of Dothan, who will maintain it. Okay.
Right. The city of Dothan's already signed the traffic warrant permits and everything else like that for that improvement. They did that in a previous commission meeting.
Okay.
To allow that to happen.
You understand all that? Yep. Okay, good. If you have a question, we can ask.
And I'll tell you, kudos to the Road and Bridge Department, Houston County, and you, the commission, for the great work that's been done out there. That place is really shining. It looks really good out there. I don't know if you've ridden by there or not, but I know that's the largest cul-de-sac in America. But I'll tell you, it's really looking good. That park's really shining. And also we'll be starting the construction, which we're going to do a little groundbreaking in June for the new 100,000 square foot spec building out there. So good stuff to get us some more product, to create more economic opportunities. So can't thank you guys enough. I've got Colton Curitan in the back there. He's been helping out, doing a lot of work as well. So I want to recognize Colton for his great work that he does. And again, thank you and the commission for everything you guys do.
Thank you very much. We're moving along with the Bakerfield property.
Yeah.
We'll be back for us soon to handle all that.
Yeah.
I know we've got some money involved in that.
Yeah. Getting that all worked out.
Good.
With the other 79 projects, right?
Hey, don't complain.
Hey, I'm not complaining.
We enjoy that.
I'm not complaining. I just want closure on some things.
Projects, i.e. jobs.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
any object or any questions for Matt first?
I have,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, Parker. Has the city looked at the possibility of anything in North Beverly, since that distribution center is where it's at, and a lot of access traffic with, well, their FedEx will be going out to 84 East. Anticipate anything with North Beverly from there, 84 to the 52?
You know, when that project was originally being cited for that location, they had originally looked at trying to use that as the entrance point to that facility. And because of the challenges with the intersection improvements on North Beverly and 52. That's when things got diverted to improving Sam Houston Boulevard to make that the entrance point for them. So that'll be the main area. Because of their traffic study and that, I think most of their traffic is going to go on the circle and go off there. I mean, it's not to say there won't be some vans probably going down North Beverly to hit 84, but I think their traffic plan is pretty much focused on those primary arteries from that standpoint.
Any other questions or comments? All right, any objection to adding that to the agenda?
No, yes.
All right. Number 3 is a request to award joint bid with the city of Dothan for portable toilet rentals and service. So the lowest bidder we respect, I think.
This is a joint bid that's led by the city of Dothan. We, as the county, participate in one aspect of this bid. And this is a recurring bid. This is the second time it's been bid out since I've been here.
Any questions regarding this? This is just another of the many things that we have worked with the city on the joint bid and have saved the taxpayers of the city and the county a significant amount of money by working together with them, that we do on many things. Questions, comments? Any objections to adding that to the agenda?
No.
Item 4, request to adopt a resolution to authorize the allocation of American Rescue Plan Act funds for eligible water infrastructure projects. Is that correct? It's not water, is it? If it's Taylor.
It is a water infrastructure project, but it's water sewer infrastructure.
Yeah. So it's water and sewer. I thought it was just sewer. I'm not questioning you. I'm just in my mind.
Yes, no, I understand. It's an infrastructure project that what I've been told is that it is listed under the water infrastructure project, but it is a sewer lift
There's
station.
about the transportation plan for water and sewer. Okay, so would it give you heartburn if we changed it to eligible water and sewer infrastructure project?
It would not hurt my feelings.
Jackie, did you get that? Sometimes you tell me you can't hear. So I just selected. All right, so we're going to make this item request to adopt resolution to authorize allocation of American Rescue Plan Act funds for eligible water and sewer infrastructure project. This is our assistance to the town of Taylor that you know is on our list. They are building a sewage treatment facility, not just running lines, but actually building a facility to provide sewer. We talked about that before, and the need for sewer out in the county, and they're providing sewer to the town of Taylor and out into the area surrounding Taylor. I believe that project is ongoing, and they've taken bids, and we've met with the mayor a couple of times, and certainly have met with the area engineers, and they understand all the hoops they've got to jump through for this money, and so this is a step to get our assistance to them and help get the sewer out into the county. We have a couple of other towns that you all know that are on the list, but this one is ahead of most of the others. So, yes, sir. That's something like that.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is just one more step in the process to allocate funds to this project. Then we will do a risk analysis of that subrecipient. From that, we will then determine what the subrecipient agreement needs to look like. And then I will come back to the commission to actually get a resolution to approve the appropriation of those funds subject to that execution of the subrecipient agreement. So this is just taking that pot of money and you're carving a little piece out for this project subject to the full execution of subrecipient agreement and a resolution to fund that subrecipient.
In other words, this is the first time you'll get to vote on this. It's kind of like NPO, you know, you vote on NPO. How many times do we vote on NPO? Right? 3? I think so, yeah. This will be at least 3 times we vote on these things. Any questions regarding this resolution, which I'm sure y'all all read extensively? Recommend Taylor and all those others for being willing to take these kind of steps. All right, any objection to adding this to the agenda?
No objection.
Item number 5 is a request from the town of Gordon to assist with audit. This was tabled previously. Actually, this was tabled, so what we will need Monday, and this item needs to say request to remove from the table and I'll remember that. We just need a motion. Before we address this on Monday, we'll need a motion to remove the item from the table because it was tabled. So, yeah, that's my job as parliamentarian to handle all that for you. So, yeah, request from town of Gordon to assist with audit. I think the amount we ended up discovering that the audit was 5, was that right? Something like that. And so that's, in my mind, anyway, the amount that we talked about. Mayor is here, and I don't know if you have anything to add to last time other than to answer any questions you all may have. I know we were provided some additional information. I appreciate you getting us that budget and the information contained in that. And so at this point, I would ask the commission, any of the commissioners have questions, either just in general for us as discussion or for the mayor who is here. As it relates to this item. No questions. Yes, sir, Commissioner Shute.
Questions about the logistics of this. So we're gonna write a check to the town of Gordon. They're gonna have the audit performed and they're gonna use the funds that we gave the town to pay the audit. Is that how that's gonna work?
I think it will work, not to jump in. I see you looking at Peter asking that question. I'm not going to jump in between those two cases, but I think it will work however the commission and the town decide it will work. And I want to be sure. I think we as a commission, and Mayor, you probably want to come on up because we won't need you in this discussion. I think we want to be sure that the funds we provide for the audit are used for the audit, not questioning whether that would happen, but I think that's part of the question. I don't know if we need to, I don't know, this may even be an auditor question, but I don't know if we need to pay his auditor directly or if we need to provide the funds to the town for the audit. Either way, we just want to be sure the funds we provide for this request for the audit are used for the audit, if that makes any sense. So
if I might put in
You may.
there, if y'all guys would just pay it forward to the auditor, we don't really want the fund in our hands. We just want to get the audit done.
we'll have to check and see if in fact we can do that. And Peter will. And don't be making those faces. Just I don't know why I don't know why we couldn't, but that doesn't mean we can't. So I think we would want to check with the auditor to be sure that with our auditor, to be sure that we can do it that way. That certainly would be, not speaking for everybody, but I think from my perspective, that would be the most palatable way, would be just to pay the auditor direct. So. Yes, sir.
We also talked about, the mayor and I talked about ways that they could pay it back. Adam told me, they don't want to have that. They just want some help right now, but they want a way to pay it back. And so once they get stable enough to stand again on the audit and say, I'm actually going to problem with that. I know we talked about rebuild tank.
Yeah, we did.
Talk about that.
Do we know, did you by chance look and see how much?
Okay.
We need to, can we do that? Yeah, can we do that before Monday and find out how much rebuild money they've got? Because, we do have roads down there and if you could just get a little information on that, what we could do with the money, however much it is, and if they were willing, then that would be a good way to, for us to, we're doing this, to help you, and then we could, because if we do work with your money on roads in your town, it's helping us and you. So, and we've done that before with other towns, so that would work, well. So yeah, if you could find that out. Yes, sir. Other questions?
Yes, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Chairman, I think we discussed this on our last meetings and, to the commission, in our discussion. And I would like to follow up with our county attorney on this question about who audits. And my concern is, I would like to see an outside independent auditor do this instead of the current CPA that y'all have, because of the connections there with a lot of the years of money coming and going. So I think an outside auditor would be good if we can do that. And according to our county attorney, and Peter can get with him and see what that we can do legally and getting this money. We're gonna try to, help you, Mayor, every way we can. And I appreciate Commissioner Harvey looking at some return of that too. But still, I would just feel better if we could find out an answer about an independent auditor.
Let me say that we not only trying to get that auditor, we tried to ask about 3 or 4 of them auditors way back. I helped him search 3 or 4. All of them were in excess of more than half of what that 16.5 is. It was in excess of 28 on up to about $55,000. So I was really thinking about taxpayers' money, the taxpayers' money, not only that particular auditor being aware of what's going on with that particular situation versus somebody coming in not doing absolutely anything about what's going on.
Okay. Other questions or comments? All right. Yes, sir.
Before we vote on this on Monday, we're gonna have all these answers about the money, where the money's coming from, who's paying it, who we're paying. All that stuff, how it's gonna be done. We'll have all those answers before we vote.
Yes. Peter, Chief Administrative Officer will have some conversation with the auditors, hopefully that answer. Kirk, Engineer Kirkland will have the information on the road work. And, Chris will be here, so we can ask him anything they'd like. Okay. All right, any other questions, comments? Any objections to add this to the agenda?
No,
Okay, thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Commissioners, thank you, sir.
All right, item number 6 is request to adopt a resolution for state law to approve a one-time lump sum payment for county retirees. The state of Alabama passed this law just in the last session, right? And they did this, searching for answers. Do you remember when they did this the last time? Here or here,
I think it was 2019.
Okay, so several years ago, they did this, and we have always, when the state does increases or one-time payments for their retirees, we've always followed suit for our employees, our retirees. This is a case of that. This one-time payment is, I think the date is in March. It's retirees that are eligible as of a March date, I believe, is what I saw. And it's paid in October. So what would happen is this would be, you would include this amount of money if you approve this money in next year's budget. It would just be an item in the budget. So we don't have to do any kind of budget amendment or anything like that. So the cost of it is $90-something thousand, I think, for all the retirees. Any questions? Sure, would be so eager to come to the podium if you have a question. Any objections to adding that to the agenda?
No objection.
Okay. Thank you, Sherry. Item number 7, request to approve reimbursement from the City of Dothan Police Department related to employee contract buyout. Wonder who was gonna come to the podium. But it says Sheriff Department, everybody.
It does. What this is, and unfortunately, it looks like this may be a trend that's going to start happening with employees. We've lost 4 to the city of Dothan recently, 1 pending. Under Alabama law, an employee that we sent through the police academy does not stay for 2 years, then whoever they go to work for is responsible for buying out the cost of the academy, all expenses to go with it. I did furnish a copy to y'all, or I believe you may all have one on the actual breakdowns. In this case, the reimbursement was $20,668. And what I'm asking if it can be done is that money to be put back in our budget under those line items, because if I cannot find a certified officer, I have to hire another uncertified and send them back to the academy. And right now, we're looking at least 2.
Well, this money came, I mean, this money.
It come out of our
spent
budget.
Out of your budget.
That is
originally,
correct.
wasn't
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And that's why I'm saying if it can be done, that's all I'm asking, because it could be eventually where it, you take a young officer that just gets out of the academy, has a family, and they have potential to go across 2 blocks from us and go to work for $16,000, $18,000 more money. It's hard to turn it down, and you can't blame them. And unfortunately for us, but good for the city employee officers, you know, they raise their starting pay to $50-some thousand a year, plus years of experience. Plus, I think they got some education in there they pay for as well.
Well, it would go, I mean. It would, I agree with what you said, you need to be able to use funds to replace what you're losing. I don't know from a funding movement of money, I mean, I'm assuming this would come to the general fund and then you would use whatever money you needed in your budget, and then if we needed to add money to your budget, we'd make a budget amendment. That's probably the proper moving of money.
Yes.
So,
But I want to bring this to your attention
Yeah.
because as this progresses, this is almost 21,000. I've got another one that's hasn't turned their notice into us yet, but he's in the hiring process,
Right.
and he just graduated within a year ago, I believe it was, or a little over, but he still falls in that category, and there could be more.
Yeah. Yeah, we would recognize the fact that you have to replace these folks, and
Yes.
the cost of that, we would certainly address and handle, and know this money is in the general fund, so if we need to make a budget amendment at some point, we can.
So I just want to,
Yeah.
again, make the commission aware. Thank you.
No problem, thank you. Any questions before you go to work? Okay, thank you. Any objections to adding this to the agenda? No. All right, item number 8 is a request for a O10 lounge retail liquor license class 1 for 2 High Saloon, 3042 West Alabama State Highway 92, Daleville, Alabama. I'm assuming that's the address. Daleville,
That's just, yeah.
where's that, Wicksburg?
Yeah.
Okay. We will ask on Monday if anyone will be in attendance to object to that, any objection to adding that to the agenda for Monday. All right, and item number 9 is a request on Monday to recess into executive session on Thursday, May 26th at 1 o'clock at the Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce to discuss preliminary negotiations involving matters of trade or commerce in which the commission is in competition with private individuals or entities or other governmental bodies in Alabama or in other states or foreign nations. That is lawyerese to say, you need to meet with Matt about a potential economic development project. So we will recess Monday's meeting to have that meeting. You will probably all be asked to sign confidentiality agreements and all those kind of things, like we always do in economic development project. Yes, sir. You may. I'll be here.
I'm George Trotter, reside at 4218 County Road 203, Dupton, Alabama, 36301. Mr. Chairman, if you could, the people, taxpayers of Houston County, voting citizens of Houston County, could you explain to us a little bit why we're going into executive session? And are we clear, absolutely clear by the Attorney General's office that we can go into the session for this reason in the state of Alabama relative to the open meetings law, the sunshine law?
Yes, sir, we are clear of that. That's why we're doing this, to be sure we are in compliance with the law. And they're going into session, as I just stated, to discuss an economic development project.
And you can't tell the people in Houston County what this economic development property is about at all. It's just,
Correct.
I'm saying, and I'm going to be contacting the Attorney General's office to see if this meeting is legal. And you're convinced, you tell me if you're convinced and you checked it out, and where's our attorney today to see?
He only comes to the commission.
Okay. So you're saying this meeting is, I'm always leery about these type of meetings, you know, these executive session meetings, normally public meetings are about personnel. Almost exclusive.
Not necessarily.
Well, not necessarily, but
We're
almost.
Mr. Parker's back there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'd like for him to maybe come up and tell us
No,
what
you
he's.
should talk to him after the meeting.
No, this is public meeting.
I said you can talk to him after the meeting.
I guess I can. I hope so. But I'd like this to be, you know, to the public, but I appreciate it. You know, we're again, not being transparent as usual. Thanks, sir.
We are always transparent and always working to bring new opportunities for our citizens. All right, we have, and I don't have the sheet, do we? Somebody else should. We have one privileges of the floor request today, and if Amy, you would come up to the podium while I read this notice. Privileges of the floor are made available to our citizens to make comments to the commission regarding issues related to the county. It's not a time for debate, or questions, or discussion, but any items presented will be taken under consideration by the commission for future action if necessary. Each speaker, or this speaker, one speaker, will have 5 minutes. Our speaker today is Miss Amy Fitch, who wants to talk to us about Chattanooga Park. We're glad you are with us.
Thank you, Mr. Culver, Chairman, and the rest of the commissioners. I'm here today as a citizen that was surprised when the news came out about the potential plan for the park. Myself and many others were loved the park as it was, and to hear the plan of basically transforming it into a shooting facility was concerning. And we have an alternative plan, and a less expensive plan would be just to put the park back like it was. I'm not against guns, not against the shooting range in general, but if you are taking away from something that everyone can enjoy, you know, that's a whole nother, you know, ball game. Talking about the Scholastic shooting, while, you know, it was said it's the most expensive, the fastest growing school sport. Do you know what is consistently the most popular outdoor activities? It's trails, fishing, camping, hiking, and wildlife viewing, all of which we had before Hurricane Michael. And when you're talking about the school shooting, there's a few of the schools, and it sounded like, you know, we don't have a place for these kids to shoot. That's far from the case. I looked it up, and as far as the 4 that were mentioned, Bethel, Providence, Emmanuel, and Wicksburg, they already shoot and have tournaments at Headland Skeet and Gun, Ravenwood, Fort Rucker. And all of those places are way closer, way more convenient than this park would be. Actually, it's double or triple the mileage to get down to Chattahoochee State Park, which is as far away from anything than where they're already going. And then on the other hand too, the majority of those schools, I mean, they have a handful of kids that shoot. I love that, but you know, they're private schools. This is a public park, and you're talking about public money to fund basically a, you know, activity for a group of private kids. On the subject of funding, Mr. Culver, Chairman Culver, the $300,000 that was appropriated 2 years ago, which I didn't know about that. I mean, nobody's known about it, I guess. But the bill, like you said, actually says for the repair of the park. It says nothing about development, it says nothing about shooting equipment. It's for the repair. It's for the amount that was originally said it would take to put our park back like it was. The other 1.7 million that everybody's hoping comes down the pipeline, if that is supposed to be coming out of ARPA money or COVID money, the U.S. Treasury just clarified there are only 2 reasons why that could be used for outdoor spaces or parks. One is areas that were disproportionately impacted by the pandemic, or 2, maintenance and upkeep that was increased during the pandemic, which none of that happened at Chattahoochee Park. It was closed a year or more before the pandemic ever even hit. There were a lot of businesses and people that were hurt during the pandemic, but Chattahoochee State Park wasn't one of them. The other thing that kept being brought up was the Title 16. I didn't know anything about that, so of course I researched it. I could not find anything or anywhere that in that would justify this grand plan that came out, you know, a few weeks ago. The only thing it really says is that you can't cut the timber. So if the timber is that important, maybe we should just replant it, put it back like it was, instead of clearing a whole bunch of that park to put in this potential shooting that, you know, is being talked about. And if it's for the kids and for education, there's way more kids and families in the public sector that would benefit from this park the way it was versus, you know, the shooting. You may be wondering why you're just now here in opposition. I'm not the only one opposed to that plan that was put out. I am who you're hearing from today. There's still plenty of people in our community that doesn't even know, you know, we're busy, we're farming, we don't have time to, you know, to watch what's going on in the politicians' world and the meetings and whatever. We're just down there trying to do our jobs. But anyway, but that's why I'm here now, is because this has been being talked about. And the fact that it was talked about from what you guys said in the meeting, you know, this has been going on and being plotted and planned for 2 years. And quiet, not one word. I looked through every agenda meeting, all the agendas since Hurricane Michael. I read all the minutes since then, watched most all the videos, not one word about Chattahoochee State Park. Now, how all this grand plan came about, I don't know. Again, I'm not against guns. I love that these kids are shooting, but you can't, that takes public money, public land that was intended to be a public park for everybody. You know, that's where I think a lot of people would like for this to go back. You know, if you got to do something with it, put it back or send the money back, you know, if it can't fix it. I appreciate y'all listening to my.
Thank you. And we will, that's something we will address down the road somewhere. And we'll encourage you to be part of that discussion.
Well, I would like to have my commissioner or somebody, like I said, we farm, we're busy. I don't have time to watch what's coming up in the news, but I would definitely, myself and many others, want to be included in that. And for the record, I'm not sure why those opinions weren't sought beforehand also, before this got 2 years down the road into this snowball that's, you know, this happened.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we stand adjourned. Thank you.